I'm here at South Jersey Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with my man Scotty Blanco. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining us.
Good, thank you for having me.
So how long have you been training and competing in mixed martial arts?
I started training back in 2011 and I had my first mixed martial arts fight in 2013.
And what made you get into the sport?
Honestly, as a kid, I was very ornery, aggressive, and then it wasn't until after the military, like when I joined the military, got to my first base in Florida, that I sought out combat sports, and it started in Western boxing, traditional boxing, and then I thought I was going to be a boxer, but then I had just this urge to go train mixed martial arts, and I ended up finding my first MMA gym and started training. Probably not even about 4 weeks and then I had my first MMA fight. So.
And what was it like? You said you were going to be a boxer. So what was the transition like to try to go from boxing to mixed martial arts?
It was really different because the obviously the styles with Western boxing, it's a lot more strict, the movements and the technique, and obviously with MMA you have more strikes and there's more chances of with its submissions and grappling, and you have punches and kicks, and there's more variety with MMA. So the transition was definitely different, especially the grappling part, because with boxing it's all striking, and MMA it's just there's so much that you can learn, and it was definitely a transition, but it was definitely a fun one.
Now, where do you plan on taking your career here with the mixed martial arts? You want to go pro? I mean, you're doing it for fun.
No, absolutely. I want to definitely go pro. Hopefully, if my projection's right, I think by next year I can definitely be a professional fighter. So. And
I know you took, we were talking before, you took that 4-year layoff, and so you just had your return. How does it feel now that you had a few years off? You kind of almost are restarting. What's the focus, on? Do you have a natural game plan to go pro, or are you kind of just going with the flow? Like, did you take those few years to retool? Tell me a little bit about taking some time off and how that may have benefited your training and competing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, taking time off is not necessarily a bad thing, at least for myself speaking. When I took the time off, it was definitely a needed time off. There was a huge transition in my life, especially coming from Florida back to New Jersey, and even the years ending when I was still living in Florida the last few years. But when I got here, coming back into mixed martial arts has been the best decision I made, and even fighting, like coming back to fighting, and the time off I think helped that. And obviously, coming to SJBJJ and meeting all my coaches and professors and my training partners, I think the focus now is it's the same goal, but with, just in my opinion, just a better people by my side, a better gym, and just it's one thing that I have my focus, but man, my team, they all have the same focus for me, and there's something powerful when you have team members and coaches that are behind you like that. Oh,
certainly. And what's it like training here at South Jersey BJJ?
Oh man, it's honestly been the best decision of my life to come here. Everybody's focused yet humble. Everybody's hungry, and not just for themselves. They're hungry for one another. There's going back to my most recent fight. It was a rough weight cut and it was a rough training camp, but I'll tell you one thing, man, if I didn't have my coaches and my training partners, I probably wouldn't have made it through. So I'm definitely fortunate.
And isn't it funny, like how just the environment, it's such an individual sport, but the environment makes or breaks everything. And yeah. It's funny, man. So now your fight's coming up here December 14th. How you feeling? I mean, you're fighting at the Showboat. Where are you fighting at?
Okay, so I'm fighting December 14th at the Showboat in Atlantic City. It's for the promotion Dead Serious, and it's gonna be at 155. So
so this is a different weight now. So a little less of a cut. Now talk to me about the weight cut, because you were at middleweight, you were at welterweight, went all the way down to featherweight. Where do you feel the most comfortable, or have you found that sweet spot yet?
So fighting at 170, 185 definitely I would say it's, it was harder for me there, even though like I was still physically fit. Fighting heavier is still, in my opinion, just more strenuous on the body. Being, when I dropped to 145, that was strenuous too, but in more of a weight cut sense, because it definitely drew a lot from me. I had to really I was still gauging my body and how, where I sat and how easy or difficult it was to cut the weight. But I think 155 right now is definitely that sweet spot to where I can train really consistently and really, hard, but also like not killing myself with like the weight cut and doing all like the heavy saunas and stuff like that.
And when you go pro, where do you see yourself fighting? Lightweight?
If I go pro, I think I would like to do featherweight, but either featherweight or lightweight, would be ideal for me.
And what's the difference? I mean, because you have seen what middleweight feels like and then featherweight. So, like, what do you feel like at middleweight versus what you feel like at featherweight? And what would be like a pro and a con for each one?
So a pro and a con for middleweight and featherweight?
Yeah, just, fighting at those two different weights.
My con is for featherweight, I walk probably around like 170. So I cut quite a lot of weight. Now, when you do that, you're obviously drawing from your training, because the closer you get to the fight, the less you weigh, and the more difficult it is to train, because your body's starting to like really get tired, and your energy's low and probably dehydrated more so, and that's probably my con for featherweight. For my pro for it though would be that because I walk so heavy, cutting all that weight, if I do it correctly and I gain get the hydration and everything back, I think I'm a very large and powerful featherweight.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, and same thing with lightweight. Fighting at 155, still like walking at 170 and cutting that weight. The difference between it though is like that 10 pounds makes a difference. Just from featherweight to lightweight. So I'm still cutting a good amount of weight, but because I have that little bit of grace, that 10 pounds that I don't have to cut anymore, it does a lot to my energy as far as training and consistently training all the way through my camp,
And what do you want people, when they look at Scotty Blanco and they say, this guy is a fighter, MMA fighter, what type of fighter do you want people to recognize you as?
I just want to go out there, put on a show, and I want to be memorable out there. I live by the warrior mentality, man. I want to go out there and I want to fight. I don't want to go in there and just kind of like dance around and not really, put on that effort. I want to go out there and I want to just kind of be aggressive with it. I'm fighting for this. Like, I'm not just fighting somebody, but I'm fighting for this dream. So when I'm out there, like I remember that. I remember why I'm in there. Regardless of the opponent, regardless of who's watching outside the cage, I'm there to fight and just pretty much keep going and get this goal.
And you were in the military. What branch?
Air Force.
So how did the military help prepare you for some of the mixed martial arts? And they do say, if you look at some of the top successful people in the world, there's two things in common. Most of the time you see that they're either in the military or either both, military and had done some sort of combat sport. So how does this prepare you for the military, prepare you for the sport? And then also, how did both of them kind of help you in life?
Yeah, it's funny because obviously the military is great mentally and physically, but even just the decision to go into the Air Force, if I would have never made that decision, I never would have gone to Florida. And if I would have never gone to Florida, I would have never found the gym that I trained at. And mixed martial arts itself. I mean, even though I could have not joined and possibly have found a gym here, still I think that transition was something that I needed. Going to basic training and just kind of like going through that whole experience. And then I got to Florida and I found the gyms that I trained at, and that definitely I think is a big factor. And then obviously just the physical training, the mental training, the teamwork in the military, all of that kind of compiled together really, helped me.
That's fascinating, man. And we're super excited to watch you. I know you're coming up here December 14th at the Showboat down in Atlantic City. Where can people follow you at, man?
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Scotty Blanco, just one word. That's where I do a lot of my promoting, a lot of my videos and pictures and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of keep everybody updated.
Awesome, man. Well, Scotty, best of luck to you. Thanks for joining us. And as always, brother, have a good one, mate.
Thanks, man.